So first we'll read from Prabhupada Lilamrita for like 10 or 15 minutes. And then after that, I will be speaking about my personal experience and the privileges and the blessings I had from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj for almost 40 years, 42 years actually, 42 years, yeah. And as I speak about Gopal Krishna Maharaj, I'm going to request my friend, my dear friend here, long-time friend, I think you've known each other for also for 40 years, to translate some in Hindi so people can understand who have challenges. We understand God is vast, Prabhupada continued. We are similar to Him in quality, but we are infinitesimal. If they are God, then how is it that they have come to this doggish state? You may be God, but for the present moment, they are not God. They will admit that for the present moment, they are not God, but they are and will become God in future. But what kind of God is this? And how have they fallen under illusion? That means illusion is stronger than God, that they have to come under illusion. So, the God then is Maya or not God? Prabhupada is very, artistic way of telling, is God, not God, is Maya, God, like that. Very balancing. So intelligent people can pick up this thing. And as Prabhupada used to say, use your higher intelligence all the time, We have the definition of God that He is all-powerful. This Swami is not all-powerful. If some poor fellow came to him on the street, he could not stop from getting a beating. And if he got the toothache, he would be ruined as God. God is all-wealthy. They are not even intelligent. To surrender to Krishna is intelligent. I'll repeat that. To surrender to Krishna is intelligent. Yes. They are kicking each other and they have fallen in the conditioned state. And they say they are God. These questions should be put to them. They cannot answer them. Very good arguments here. Prabhupada continued his walk through the neighborhood of automobile showrooms, hamburger, luncheonettes not yet open, and bus stops crowded with workers who stayed at the elderly Swami passing with his young followers. The devotees, Prabhupada said, are more interested in talking about Krishna and in chanting his name than in arguing. Devotees are more interested in talking about and less about no arguments, don't waste time. But because so many godless parties come forward and challenge, a Vaishnava must be able to argue on the basis of Shastra. I'll repeat that, on the basis of Shastra. Not on Manodharma, okay? On basis of Shastra. And sound logic. Mr. Matthews, the Harvard graduate student of Vaishnavism, visited Prabhupada at his apartment one evening. Prabhupada explained that if one is inquisitive not about temporary things but about the absolute, then he must go to a guru. Mr. Matthews asked whether sannyas was necessary. According to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada replied, a sannyasi is one who has given everything to the service of Krishna. The dress and social standing are not important. While Mr. Matthews posed intricate questions about the contemporary situation of spiritual masters in India, Srila Prabhupada explained that a true spiritual master must be in disciplic succession and must strictly follow the regulative principles of Vaishnava behavior. The current family custom in India of having a family guru was foolish. The guru was not a family commodity or a pet. Mr. Matthews was trying to make that point that Prabhupada was not the only spiritual master and that there were many pure devotees in places like Vrindavan who did not necessarily go out for preaching, but who preached to whoever came to them. Lord Chaitanya said, Srila Prabhupada, ordered to go out and preach Krishna consciousness. Who ordered? Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki? Yes. Not that I stay in Vrindavan, and if anyone comes to me, I will teach. We must go out and go to them. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered like that. He is the authority. We don't serve this or that. We serve Krishna and nothing else. I am the servant of Krishna. And the best position for preaching is sannyas, because he doesn't have to send money to his family or go back to his wife at a certain hour. But everything is for Krishna. This is the attractive background for preaching. The dress is not important. Mr. Matthews disagreed that the spiritual master had to be a sannyasi or a renounced preacher. After about an hour, Mr. Matthews checked his watch and became alarmed. Oh, my goodness, it's late. It's a typical thing they say. I am having guests over and my wife is cooking a dinner for them. I have to go. You see, Prabhupada said, this proves my point. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Late in May, Prabhupada held a public lecture at the Arlington Street Church, a well-known landmark in the heart of downtown Boston. With many respectable-looking older people as well as young people in the audience, the meeting was well attended. Srila Prabhupada spoke on yoga as Lord Krishna explains it in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada emphasized that Krishna chose Arjuna as the recipient of the knowledge of yoga. Why Arjuna? Arjuna, Srila Prabhupada explained, wasn't a sannyasi. He was a family man. He wasn't a scholar. And so many big scholars were present at that time. He wasn't a Hatha yogi or even a brahmana. So why was he picked? Prabhupada shouted into the microphone, Bhakto se mi, sakha cheti, because you are my devotee. Right? Beautiful. Right? Afterwards, Prabhupada asked for questions. There are different levels of yogas. Someone asked, so you can take any yoga and then go further up? Step by step. You can go up. That is your option. It's your option, step by step. But Bhakti Yoga is to take the life immediately. One who is thinking always of me within the heart and is engaged in my service with faith and devotion, he is the first-class yogi and of all the yogis. Who knows that sloka? Yoginam? Prabhupada one time was asked a question that how many lifetimes, because I have done so many bad karmas in my previous lifetimes also. So how many lifetimes I will have to chant the holy name before I can, I can get blessings of Krishna. And very good. Prabhupada said, 1 minute. Like so, does devotion come first and then awareness, or awareness first? Prabhupada, first devotion, then awareness. If you do not labor for passing exam, how can you pass? The primary rule is to chant. Just see. We have a little faith in the beginning, a little respect. We think, let me see what is this Krishna consciousness. Almost everyone tried that, right? Mohan Rupa Prabhu used to do that program in Delhi University. Many people came just to see what you were doing, right? The next morning, 3 disciples of Swami Sachidananda visited Srila Prabhupada. Accompanying him on his morning walk, they asked many questions. They were young men like Prabhupada's disciples. One of them was a hairdresser named Bob. If they are already disciples of a guru, Swasarup thought, then why are they so curious about another guru's process? Bob asked, don't you need to practice Hatha Yoga in order to purify the body so that eventually you can purify the higher self within? Cleansing the mind and the intelligence, Prabhupada replied, and the body is automatically cleansed. Hatha Yoga is for those in the gross bodily concept of life. In the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that a wise man doesn't place much importance on the body. The Hatha Yogi's main concentration is this body. By bodily exercise, he wants to have Krishna's love. If this were possible, all wrestlers and athletes would have achieved Krishna's love. Yeah. Lord Chaitanya's program of chanting begins with the cleansing of the mind. What is this verse? Chetodarpana Marjanam. And this takes care of cleansing the body. So I will stop here. Prabhupada says if you have 10,000 rupees, you don't have to look for 1,000 rupees because it's already included. Same principle, you know. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.